One of the common questions that we're asked right now with regard to the name of the Washington football team, which is now their official name, is why is that bad, and what's the big issue? The big issue is that the name itself, the R word, which I won't use, is a dictionary defined racial slur. And that's what we've been pushing, is that you cannot and you should not use a racial slur as your team name. Ultimately, clearly, it's been removed. Just today, as a matter of fact, or I think it was yesterday, I'm sorry, the football team announced that their logos will now just be team numbers. Um, we have an opportunity at this point to educate other sports teams, but not just sports teams, but companies, about why using native logos and why using words, even just like Indian, is dehumanization, is commodification. I think a lot of people today are just even still learning who indigenous people are. We still come across questions like, do you live in a teepee? Where's your long hair? There's this stereotype of who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to look like, and it's perpetuated by Indian mascots. So, and not just, again, and not just with sports teams. Omaha Mutual, the insurance company, said that they are abolishing their Indian logo. I think it's Linen Coogans, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, the ones that make the brewery that makes summer shandies, said they are getting rid of their Indian head logo. It's a female with a feather coming out of it. There are more than just sports teams abolishing Indian mascots. Now, there's clinical research to support this. In 2005, the American Psychological Association called for the immediate abolishment of native mascots because they have been clinically proven to harm the mental health and stability of children, which is why that's been at the center of our argument. We're not here being PC as we've been accused of being. We're here looking out for the mental health and stability of children. There are native kids in schools off the reservation who get bullied because the mascot is an Indian, and the logo is an indigenous person. Even in the state of Colorado, in Lamar, it's in the eastern part of the state, they have a school called the Savages, and now their alumni are going back, or they actually started a petition to call for the removal of their name and logo. The argument for those that want to keep the name said, well, we're not calling Native Americans savages, we are savages. We are a community of savages, which is, of course, a repurposing, a gross repurposing of it, but the logo is still in Indian, right? Now, another question that we get asked is, okay, so the Washington football team name has changed. Why is Blackhawks offensive? Why is Chiefs offensive? Chiefs, Indians, Braves, Blackhawks, those are not racial slurs. But as I said at the beginning of this stream, is that it's still the dehumanization and commodification of a race of people. How can you take any native seriously or respect them if you still think that it's okay to play them, to put on red face and headdress? So I'm going to pose a question to you to take with you after this video. If let's say it's Halloween and you're invited to a party, and everybody at that house is a Native American, bona fide Native American, not questionably, not somebody who says who I have high cheekbones and a great grandma who was a Cherokee princess, none of that. Real bona fide natives. Would you show up wearing a headdress, playing Indian, and in red face? No, you wouldn't. You would not go into a space, or I hope you wouldn't go into a space dressed as an Indian knowing it's full of natives. So why is it okay in any other scenario? It's not. I know I have a couple questions here. Let me read through this real quick and see what I can answer. Everything is offensive if you're a liberal snowflake. No, not really. And see, that's where we have to push back. Again, these are facts. Okay, opinions are not equal to facts. There is clinical research that says that these logos harm the mental health and stability of children. The phrasing, the R word, savage, those harm the mental health and stability of children. So we have the clinical research to back this up. And at the end of the day, this is about protecting the kids. Do you think this will create a movement of changing more names? Of course. I think we're seeing that now. Even now, even outside of the mascot discussion, You know, you're seeing statues coming down to Robert E. Lee. You're seeing statues coming down to Christopher Columbus. You're seeing people acknowledge that there is real racism in this country. There's real discrimination of this country. And there's a lot of flag sucking and celebration of colonialism, colonial things. Um, I think that it will change, if, you know, for, I think, the better, personally. Unless you're somebody like that guy that says if you're a liberal snowflake. But, okay, that's ignorance. Um, Do I think there's going to be a lot of change with the younger generation? Yeah, absolutely. The younger generation is stepping up. The younger generation will affect that change. The younger generation will look back and go, wow, you guys had to live through native mascots and people wearing red face around you and thinking it was absolutely okay. And we're going to have to, you know, say, yes, they thought that was okay, and it was never okay. And stop bringing up Elizabeth Warren, folks. Again, she's not native. She's not one of us. She's not even recognized by any of the nations or the tribes, so you can let that go. Okay. What are the next steps that should be taken to uplift the Native community? The next steps, I think, was for people to drop everything you think you know about Natives and start over. There are local Indian centers in your community. In New York, there's American Indian Community House. In Los Angeles, the Southern California Indian Center, Denver Indian Center, Minneapolis Indian Center. You have opportunities to